But to what Chris said about you said something is missing. To me, what instantly came to my head was Torkelson and Riley Green, because weren't they supposed to be the guys that take the step forward and kind of carry this offense? To me, that's what's missing is those two guys were supposed to be the faces of this rebuild, and so far they haven't been.
Absolutely, and to me, I've always been not always, but I've been a little less convinced that Torque is going to be that piece, at least right now. But I thought Riley Green was going to be a guy who took a step forward this year and didn't have this kind of strange sophomore slump where he's not hitting the ball hard and he's hitting it on the ground, and it's just a bizarre turn of events. But I don't know. I mean, the more we follow baseball, the less it makes sense. You talked about Christian Yelich, right? Like, I, yeah, he went from hitting 80 home runs and stealing 60 bases and hitting 330 for 2 years to now barely hitting like 220 with no power. Nothing makes sense.
It takes some time. Do I think that they should have been, some sort of progress? I mean, but look at Jared Kelenic as an example. I mean, we could look at that all day. If Green doesn't, I'll be more concerned next year if this is happening at the same time. If there's no site, if they struggle all year long, it's only April, folks. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it right now because this team is winning when they can, despite an offense that is basically puttering like a bad engine. It's a bad offense right now, and they're able to overcome that.
Well, that's the way that Al Avila built it, right? Like these were the stars, these were the top 25, top 10 prospects, and they were going to build around those guys with some veterans. And yeah, it takes time. Like your point, yeah, Castellanos was not a positive, like a plus WRC player until his third full season.
Right.
He was like 90, 95 the first 2 years. Now it'd be nice to get Torkelson up to 90 and Green up to 100 or so, but yeah, it does take time, and people need to be patient. It's just one of the really annoying things I think is when you see other prospects rated in the same realm come up and immediately pop, like Julio Rodriguez or Corbin Carroll, right? Like these guys just come up and they're doing their thing, and it's like but then today the interesting thing, and people are pointing this out, Jordan Walker was sent down by the Cardinals today.
Yes, he was.
Now, these are two teams in completely different spots. If Jordan Walker were on the Tigers, he might be their second best hitter right now. But the Cardinals are trying to win, and they are not doing that right now. And they want, for lack of a better term, Jordan Walker's a luxury for them. They don't need him to be the face of the franchise at the cornerstone. They need him to be a productive hitter, so they're trying somebody else right now. It's not going to harm his development. But, yeah, I don't know. But to Rod's overall point, yes, it is still April too. So there's always that.
Exactly. I was going to chime in on that too. It is just April. I mean, so many things we can say it's just April, and it's true. There's a long way to go. But back to John's point about Torkelson and Green. Yes, given the lack of alternatives, they were the two, guys we all wanted to see take steps forward and hopefully carry the offense. But that is a huge burden to put on two young guys like that. That's why I love him. I love Lynn Henning. He and I had a Twitter back and forth this past weekend. My opinion on that is they should have had veterans in place around them so that, yes, we could monitor Torkelson and Green and hope for the best, but they didn't have to carry a major league offense. Okay. Lynn's idea is you build this core and then you add the veterans into the core. I think what we're seeing, sadly, is what can happen. We're seeing a 3-run offense because we're expecting these second-year guys to, drag the train along, and it's not quite. They're not up to it yet, and that doesn't mean they won't be, but they're not there.